this is the first day you're joining us, if this is the 6th day you're joining us, please drop me a comment in the comments. I love to hear from everyone. I try to answer all of my video comments. It is something I really enjoy. And even though I'm teaching and I don't really see you on the other side, the comments really help me connect, which I love. So far we have built on the basics. We've added some partner strategies. We have added some relaxation strategies, right? We talked about what to do with our eyes. We talked about yesterday, breathing to the sensation, breathing to the pain of the contraction. So hopefully you have kind of started to feel this breath as quite a big tool in your toolbox. Now, today we're talking about adding vocalization. Vocalization is something that can help us really lengthen the exhale. So that's one really great part about adding vocalization when you exhale. And then number 2, as far as adding this vocalization to our breath, is that something about like vibrating the diaphragm can really reduce that pain. And I don't know the science behind it or exactly why it works, but it is something that when a lot of people try it, they say, oh, that did feel better. I will tell you that this layered strategy using vocalization with our breath, it's not something that I would recommend to do like as soon as labor starts. It's not something that, is going to you're going to need usually in the early part of labor. This is when labor starts getting more intense and you really need to add something else to deal with the intensity of the contraction. Now, you could do vocalization from the very beginning, but I like to think of as labor, contractions get longer, stronger, and closer together. So that's the progression that we get in labor. And I kind of think of using the tools in our toolbox is sort of in that same way where we start out low and we use the least amount of strategies, which is really like sleep. And then as things progress and get more intense, that's when we start bringing out the bigger strategies. So this one, vocalization, I would say is more of a time when you're really having to use tools to cope, that you would bring this out. Partners can do this alongside you, which makes it feel a little less weird when you're doing it in labor. And they can also remind you that it works by, breathing and doing it. But I've talked all about it. It's time to show you what it's like and practice it. What it is, you take a deep breath in, just like normal. And then on your exhale, you make a sound. Now, usually it's more powerful. It just feels better if you're making a low sound, not a high sound. You want to make low. So a lot of times people will go with oohs, ahs, oh, that kind of thing. So what it looks like is deep breath in. Ooh. Right? Does it look stupid? It probably does. But I'm willing to look stupid on YouTube to teach this amazing strategy because I know how great it is. So, and then you take another deep breath in, try out some different sounds. Again, you're doing this without any kind of contraction, so it might feel a little funky. It might feel, like you can't figure out how good it would be, but trust me, it's really, really good. Okay, so if you share this video with your partner, a really good way that partners can support is making sure that you're being low. So you might say something like low. Now, there are occasions where people feel more comfortable in that higher pitch, but from what I've seen, that low really feels more powerful, really more on top of it. So let's do 10 full breaths, 10 full breaths, practicing this vocalization pairing with our breath. So again, we're going to start with that, actually, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a deep cleansing breath. And then we're going to do 2 contractions where we use that progressive visualization. I like to do 2 contractions and kind of, get into that more relaxed muscle state. And then we'll start on the 3rd breath. We're going to do our vocalization. So, okay, so we're going to do 10 full breaths, starting with 1 cleansing breath, 2 using our progressive relaxation, and we'll do 8 with the vocalization. I'm going to switch it up a little bit, what I sound like, just to show you that you don't always have to sound the same. And I invite you to practice alongside me to really get that muscle memory in and really lock it in for when you have labor and you're ready and you need to pull out this strategy. Okay, so I am going to start right now. Ready? Cleansing breath. Okay, first breath in. Relax from head to toe. Now our first vocalization. Ooh. Ah. Ooh. Oh. Ah. Ooh. Ooh. Last one. Awesome. What did you think? I would love to hear what you thought about practicing this vocalization. And can you feel kind of how it feels a little different in your body? Sometimes just sort of hearing yourself like helps you kind of keep that long breath, nice, long, and strong. So it's something that practicing it is great, when you have some time and you're wanting to practice some of the things you might have learned in childbirth class or some of the things you learned on in videos and live streams. Just give yourself 10 breaths. You don't have to have a long time to practice, just a little bits of practice help along the way. Awesome. Okay, we have really been working towards developing that strength of your breath in labor, but it is not our last day. We are only on day 6. So I have a whole list of more strategies that you're going to love. If you add on birth affirmations after this, that can be a really powerful daily strategy for getting your mind ready for labor. So that's why I put the links down below this video to birth affirmation videos. They're only about 5 minutes each. And there's one that you could choose for first trimester, second, third, or labor and birth. And I really recommend just going straight from this video to one of those videos and just, give your mind a little boost today. Build it up just a little bit so you'll be ready for labor too. Look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.